called me and he said he had something for me. And he came with a scandal bag.
Yeah.
And he handed me the bag. And he just handed me and he just stepped back out. And when I look in the bag, it's just money, 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 money.
Wow. Money, money, money. It would be remiss to not mention what I call an understanding of a real miracle journey, because, you know, as you know, Mel and I shared some time together, but you alluded to having had a stroke. That was said mildly, but that was a major stroke.
Yes.
Yes? That doctors perhaps could not reconcile. Even you being here now talking to us in with cognition flowing like that, you were a dead woman. Yes? Yeah?
He can tell you, I don't know.
Timon, you can pick up from it. I remember when I...
Let him tell you this.
Yeah.
I really don't know.
When I came to visit with you, you said essentially to me that you are waiting to hear what God has to say about this matter. Talk to me about this massive life-threatening, if not life-taking, it's a new life this, stroke.
No problem. It was a Wednesday evening, and as usual, well, I shouldn't say as usual, but as is often the case, she was doing what is her favorite thing, church work.
Yes.
Visiting, I'm not sure who she had visited or meeting with at the time. I was home. I think I had gone to bed early that evening, so by the time she got home, maybe about after 9 going 10, I was already in bed. I knew when she got in, and I think she came in the room and we exchanged, half asleep she exchanged. But then, and I know she went out to get tea or something to eat. But then, after that, she came in the room and said she was having headache. Head was hurting. Got up, got her some tea, and I think some tablet for the headache. And she said it was getting worse. She lie down, it gets worse. She sit up, it gets worse. And then I saw when I was standing over her when she just dropped. She was sitting on the bed, like sitting this way.
I think I was vomiting at the time.
And yeah, she did a lot of vomiting too. Yes, was vomiting along with headache, vomiting profusely. And then one of the times she just dropped back on the bed, and I called her, she was unconscious. So I basically just picked her up, got her in the vehicle, and headed for the hospital. Went to medical, Andrews Memorial. And you said that, you mentioned that it's a new life, she died. I actually saw it. When I got to Lady Musgrave Road, she was on the seat, and was watching her through the rear view mirror. And I saw when she fell off the seat and fell down, and that seemed to have been it. And I remember at that time, I prayed and I said, "You shall live and not die." And went on driving to the hospital. And I'm sure, I can speak looking back now, the Holy Spirit was with me. I didn't panic or anything. Went to the hospital. They took her out, saw her, did scan and everything, and it showed that she had bleeding in 2 sides of her brain. Doctor said to me then, they have never seen that. It's either the left side or the right side, but bleeding in both sides. Was new, and they said they couldn't handle it. So they sent her off to UWI, called a specialist, what is again you call the brain people? Neurologist, Dr. Charles.
Yes.
And this was like 2 o'clock in the morning. Went to the hospital. They put her on drips, and then by maybe about 7 o'clock, Dr. Charles came, spoke to me, says that the only thing that can, well, he had already prepped them to come in and do surgery. When he came in and did the review, he said, there's not much they can do. So they are just going to monitor and hope for the best. And as she stabilized, unconscious still, but stabilized, and this was now Thursday morning, by Thursday evening, I think, she was still unconscious, but it's very stable, and they indicated that they did another scan, and that the bleeding was not going any further. So they said they'd just keep her and observe her. And as it turned out, by the following day, she regained consciousness, was on the mend from then, and without any medication, apart from drip and some painkillers, without any surgery. After a week, she was out of the hospital. In the midst of all of that, it was being reported based on experience that she is not going to walk, and if she walks, it's going to be after years of therapy. She may not talk, she's not going to, and various prognosis and so on was given. I remember she being referred to Mona Rehab, and I took her down there, and she did an assessment, and the doctor there says, well, this one is going to take a while, but they don't have any bed at this time to admit her so that she can go through rehab. She was discharged, and persons were saying, why don't I get a wheelchair, and I'm going to have to modify the house so that it can get a ramp so that she can go in it, and get crutches, and a lot of things, and I was saying, for what? And persons thought at the time that I was not accepting reality. I was in a what you call
state of denial.
State of denial. But I remember clearly that the Sunday before this happened, she had preached, and in her message, the topic of the message was God restores. And she had cited herself as an example to say she had gotten a burn on her foot. And she walked down in the aisle, and she had showed people how God restored. Because it was, I'm not sure what degree, but it was burned almost to the bone. She had to do skin graft and all of that. And she was showing off and say, look at her foot. This is how God restored. People don't even know that it had happened. And I said that there's no way. On Sunday she could have preached that God restore. And then on Wednesday, God can't restore. And so I really said that I don't have a need for a wheelchair or for anything. She's all right. And I remember while this happened Wednesday and she was still in the hospital, I went to church and I told the church that she will come back 100%, or else the God in whom I trust is not the God I know.
That's a big one there.
Yeah.
You put yourself on the line.
Yes.
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 You put yourself on the line.
Yes. And like I said, it was thought that I was in denial.
Right.
Always.
Right. Yes.
But within a couple of weeks, she was back up. She recovered, and basically 100%, or I'd say maybe 110% there.
Big
So
Yes.
that's just.
It has been a journey, and I know it's unending. We'll have to wrap this one. The last thing really be remiss of me not to make you have spoken about, because you were in the rail looking at her in the departure lounge. Yes. But from this side now, Mel, you may want to wrap, because I'm taking this aspect now, Natalie, just over the ministry side.
Yes.
And you both been in the church, and you relocated from your former place of meeting to build a sanctuary unto the Lord at this place. And all I'll ask you is to comment on a word that came to your very husband about this building that you had set to build, and the miracles, how they unfold to the point of recently dedicating this structure.
So, coming to Old Oak Church, I was at a rural church, Golden River, as I said before. This church was in a lane, Spalding Lane. And I remember, probably it might be Timon's first time, that he says, whatever it takes, we'll have to come from this lane. And the property where the church is now was there. The former pastor had bought that property, but nothing was done to it. A matter of fact, I think they tried it several times to have a plan approved and just couldn't get it. But I came and I took it on. It was a journey, but I got it approved. So it was now time to build. So we did a BQ, and I think the BQ was $56 million. But the church only had $4 million. And I told him that we was going to start, and the person was saying, no, we can't start because it's on the highway, and we're going to start, and we have to stop. And so anyway, I says, okay. We called a prayer meeting. And this Saturday morning we prayed, and the Lord spoke through Timon that all that we need, He has already provided. And so guys, this is the word, we're going to go ahead. And we took it on, and I don't think for the time of us building that we have ever stopped. I don't know how it come, but I could share many miraculous stories. It has been said in Jamaica, that Chinese were mean, but this one always lived with me. I remember one day I was at work. Mr. Mark was there too, and a Chinese man that I met through Timon. He knows we're building. I think he has been there a few times. He called me and he said he has something for me. And he came with a scandal bag.
Yeah.
And he handed me the bag. And he just handed me and he just stepped back out. And when I look in the bag, it's just money, 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 money.
Wow.
Money, money, money.
Money.
I don't remember if I called Mr. Ma, but I remember I started crying. And I looked, it was $1 million.
Wow.
And I cried and I cried and I cried. And the story would have gone on that Men are put to work. I don't see the pay bill, but on Friday, somebody's calling to say, pick up this money. And it just went on like that for about 7 years that we have been building. It just went on. Lord just miraculously just work it out every single time. Every time. Just a miracle. Yeah, just a miracle.
And a few weeks ago, literally, you had a dedication of the entire complex. That continues to serve a community so effectively there.
A lot to digest.
Well, here we are. What can I say?
Journey, yeah.
I can only but say thanks to you, Timon and Melonia, for joining us on set, journeying from your inception, your own family to where we have closed out, and so much more. I'm sure your contribute at disposal that persons wanting to even engage you, to tap into you. You're there. From my heart to yours, fully appreciate. Thanks.
Thank you so much too.
Yes, thank you.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Indeed.
So I want to really thank Timon and Melonia Wall for joining us on set. It has really been a tremendous journey. I want to thank our sponsor, Matox Health and Fitness. I want to implore to our viewers to continue to watch and send your comments. We appreciate the feedback. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel at New Foundation Christian Ministries. Follow us on Facebook at New Foundation Christian Ministries and on Instagram at B1 Marriage Ministry. Thanks to our resident producer George Malcolm Walker and Damian De Aguilar. Thank you. See you next time. Goodbye.